Hi, this is Karla from Glass Taffy, and I thought I would record a simple video to show you how we make a frit blend. Melissa and I get together on occasion and we pull out a bunch of colors and we come up with ideas for different frit blends. So I thought I would show you guys how we actually create a blend or put one together for you guys to use. So the first thing we do is we get a bunch of different colors that we want to use in a blend for the ideas that we have. And when the colors come in, they're just plain colors like this. So this is just one color that we have, and we've got lots of these. And the first thing we do when we get the colors is we have to make test beads. And the reason we do that is because the glass can look like one color in its cold form, but once you've introduced it to the flame and have annealed it in a kiln, it could potentially change. We make these little tiny beads. They're just little spacer beads that have been rolled in the frit, and then we go ahead and anneal it just to see what the frit looks like when it's done. So we create these little sample beads, and then we tag them with the name and the number so we can always identify the color. This is important for certain colors, especially transparents. As you can see, this one looks kind of like a dark purple, but when you actually put it in the flame and anneal it, it turns into a really beautiful wine color. So this is why we have to make these beads. So once we know what the frit will look like once it's been introduced into the flame and annealed, then we can start coming up with ideas for colors that we want to put together. But it's not just as simple as taking two colors and throwing them together and making a blend. Some colors could potentially react with another color, so we need to see how they'll interact once they're in the flame and annealed and all of that. So with the blend I'm going to put together today, we actually did make a handful of sample beads, and all of these colors do react well together, so we don't have to worry about any weird reactions or ugly colors that are going to form where two colors come together or anything like that. So these colors work good together. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a small quantity of this frit blend for Melissa. She received a custom order to make some beads using this new blend, and so I'm going to make a small sample to make test beads to make sure that the color is stable. And once we figure out that the color is stable and that everything looks good, then I'm going to go ahead and give that blend to Melissa to make the beads for her order. So once you have the colors pulled that you want to use in your blend, I've got them kind of scattered all around here, then you experiment, and once you realize what you want your proportions to be, then you write them down and you have a recipe. So I have my recipe here for the blend that I'm going to make for watermelon, which is the one I had previewed on the site. So normally I make my frit blends in very small batches. I don't want to make huge quantities of frit because if I mix it all up, then I can't unmix it because these pieces of glass are very small, as you can see. So I make them in very small quantities, and then I can just, sell those small quantities and make more when I need it. So I'm going to make a very small quantity of this frit. And normally what I do is I use a small little bowl. This is one of these little salt dishes. You can use these, but I also have lots of these extra jars that I ordered to sell our frit in. And these are actually really good for mixing the frit too. And so I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'll just use this one. And I'm going to put the colors in here based on my recipe and then mix it up, and then I'll have my blend. So one thing I want to do first is just check to make sure I've pulled the right colors from another little previous sample I made. And it looks like I do have the right colors. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my little measuring spoon. This is, excuse me, this is one of those Pampered Chef spoons that you can change the measurement amount. And of course, don't ever use this for food again once you've used it for glass. But it's great because you can just change it from this is a teaspoon, so you can just change it from a teaspoon all the way to 1/8 of a teaspoon. So this is really handy for making small batches because I can just do like one part of whatever I'm doing, and I still have lots of glass left over should I want to make more. So okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my parts here. So it looks like I need one part of this color here, this green. So because I'm making a small quantity, I'm pretty much just going to do I want to do a full teaspoon? I guess I'll go ahead and do a full teaspoon. Okay. I actually need this color first. So I'm working off my recipe. Oh, there's a hole in this bag. Ooh, I'll have to fix that. All right. So I need 1 part of this color. Oh my goodness, I'm dropping frit everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I have to collect all this renegade frit here that came out of that hole. Okay, and so now I grab my next color. And I always start with my largest parts and work my way down. So what I want the most color of, I start with, and then I just work down. So then I want the same part in this color. Okay. It's kind of like making those little sand bottles, if you've ever done that, you're layering the colors. So set that one aside. Okay, so now I just need a little part of this. Change my teaspoon. Okay, so I'm done with that color. And then the same for this. And these don't have to be exact. You're really just wanting your proportions. And then I have one last little color here that I'm going to add. And then this will even less amount. All right. Grab this little guy here. Okay. So I have all my colors in my jar. So now all you do is mix. So you can see I have them kind of all layered here. So now I like to just kind of tumble it like this, go back and forth. And there's a lot of ways you can mix it. You can use a large bowl, put everything in there, excuse me, and then mix it with a pencil or something. These are good to mix in. The only concern with them though is that shaking the glass or mixing it will scratch the inside of your jar, so I would just keep 1 or 2 of these little guys around. So now I'm going to take my initial sample blend and put it in there because it's the same. And then I'll just mix this up again. So this is the frit blend. It doesn't look like much in the jar, but it's a beautiful, beautiful blend once you've introduced it into the flame. So I'm going to make my test beads with this. If it's good, then I'm going to make a little bit more of this frit, send it over to Melissa, and she can start her order. So that is how we make frit blends. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments or send us a message at glasstaffy.com. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.